Hey, good morning, guys. I just have a couple of brief thoughts for you guys today. And the first one is that, with everything that's going on, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of mistrust, a lot of anger, a lot of different things that people are feeling and expressing, and they're expressing them in different ways, and they may not all make perfect sense to us, and that's because these things that they're experiencing and that they're feeling, that they're expressing, are outside of our own experience, and we cannot begin to imagine how the lives of others have played out, and what their experiences have shaped for them. And so I've been praying over the message for a little while, and was kind of struggling putting this together, but it just come down to something simple, and that is, I was asking myself, who are we as Christians in this, and what is our role? And it's pretty simple, and Paul lays it out for the church in Colossae in chapter 3. And it says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other, and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, and over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity." I mean, that pretty much lays it out very simply how we are to behave in things like this. We have been forgiven when we have not deserved it. God is patient with us when we don't deserve his patience. We continue to mess up over and over again. We backslide and fall back into routines and habits that are just not effective at bringing us closer to God. And yet he keeps welcoming us back into his arms every single time, no matter what. And so if he does so much for us, then who are we to deny that to someone else? Compassion can be a hard thing because we get set in our ways, and we are shaped by our experiences. We only know what we've lived and what we've experienced in our own lives, what we've been taught, and that collectively shapes who we are and how we respond to the world around us. And so you may hear the term "speak your truth," and I kind of have a bad habit of maybe looking at that mockingly, but in a certain respect, it is a reality. How we perceive the world around us is the reality for us, and I can't tell someone else that how their perception of the world is wrong, and then wipe away what they're saying. I may not agree with everything, but that's not my place. That's not my job to agree with everyone. My job as a follower of Christ is to do those very things, to act with humility, grace, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. That's it, because that's what God has done for me. And so what else can I do for someone else? We are identified by our stripes. And those stripes for us should be those traits, those attributes that Jesus modeled for us so well and had taught through his ministry. It's all these things flow out of love, and are we really being loving and extending the love of Christ to other people, being argumentative and diminishing, or do we maybe take time to process things, be slow to act and slow to speak, so we consider these things prayerfully before we talk to other people? There's I don't think there's any real right answer except what we find in here. My other point for this morning is about prayer. In all of this, we need to be praying. We need to be praying for one another. Praying most of all, thanking the Lord for the many blessings that he gives us. The fact that we draw breath every morning when we open our eyes, and that we're surrounded by people that love and care for us, and just praising him for everything that he's done. We're also, petitioning the Lord. He wants us to intercede for one another, and not just for people we know. We can pray on behalf of everybody. Pray for the situation. Pray for leaders. Pray for them to have wisdom and discernment how to approach these things. Pray for cool heads to prevail, and a peaceful resolution to whatever conflict, whatever strife, whatever things are happening in people's lives that cause them to feel like they have no other recourse but to have happen what's happening now. And I think that in our prayer, the Lord will show us what we need to do or what we need to say. He may show us that we need to say nothing. Sometimes that's better than anything else we can do. We're sometimes tempted to offer advice and to fix things and to try to explain to people. And that's not always the right thing to do. So seek the Lord's guidance before you engage with this, so that you know that you're approaching this prayerfully, and that what you're saying and what you're doing comes from a heart for the Lord, with love for your neighbor, and I think things will go much better. One of my most prominent passages that I like to think about when I'm thinking about the power of prayer is in Acts chapter 12. When Paul is in a Roman prison, and they talk about the church being concerned about them, and they're praying fervently. And so while Paul sleeps, in between guards, shackled and chained, an angel of the Lord came in a flash of light, had his chains fall away from him, and led him out of the prison through several locked gates out into the city. It's a simple and short illustration, but it's one that sticks with me. Prayer is powerful. It may not always be answered in the way that you think it should be or that you want it to be, but it's important. It's an important part of our lives as Christians, as our lives, part of our lives as servants of God, to pray, not only to worship and praise him, but also to intercede on behalf of those around us, including people who don't believe. Your prayer may be the one that delivers somebody from some kind of trouble, gets them out of some kind of circumstance that maybe is leading them down a wrong path. Your prayer may be part of what brings a non-believer into a new life with Christ. So pray over these things. We've talked about how to pray before. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just has to come from your heart. And that's it. Speak to God. Have a conversation with him. You don't have to recite anything. There's nothing to memorize. Just show God that you acknowledge his greatness, appreciate what he's done for you, and then ask. Ask on behalf of yourself, on behalf of others. Just do it. It works. It's important. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy your Sunday. Be blessed in it. Love one another. Take your time in talking to other people. Show the compassion that you would expect to be shown to you. And most of all, forgive others even when you don't think they need to be forgiven or deserve it. Because you have been, and I have been. Take care. We love you guys. Bye.